Hey guys, Dion here with Your Guitar Academy, and in this lesson we're going to be looking at the first two licks in this first solo. So these two licks feature some cool kind of triadic style, very melodic playing with some really cool bends and really cool vibrato as well. So grab your guitar and let's get going. Just joining us, don't forget to head over to the website to find all of the tabs, backing tracks and any other materials to do with this course. And also please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and leave us a comment. We'll get back to you. Okay, so let's take a look nice and slow at these first two licks back to back. So I'm going to play them first without the drum beat, just so you can get a feel for how they sound. Okay, so what's going on here? There's a couple of things going on here. So I was thinking when I was writing this, I wanted to mark out the sound of the chords underneath and the harmony of the chords underneath. So this particular solo is in the key of D. Okay, so the first two chords are D major and A over C sharp. So it's kind of like that sort of movement, except bass note is descending. But the most important thing was that I wanted to mark out the sound of that D to A movement in the chords. Okay, so what I've done here, that first note there, we're starting on the 14th fret of the higher E string. We're doing a semitone bend, okay, up to 15. Release bend, pick it again, pull off to 12, and back on 14, nice bit of vibrato. So I was thinking of this D major triad when I was writing that lick there. Yeah, it's that top note, that D major triad, really highlights the sound of that chord, okay? But then the next lick, so what we do is we play also the 15th fret on B there to lead us onto this part. Okay, so all I've done there is played a descending A major triad. So you can hear in that lick. Here, even without the context of the chords, you can hear that chord changing, the harmonies changing. So in terms of the delivery of this lick, okay, so note that vibrato there. So I'm really giving that a really good wiggle there. And you know, from what I've deduced, Brian May's vibrato is quite fast, quite aggressive, but quite shallow as well. So I've taken my whole thumb off the neck there. You don't necessarily have to do that. You can still do it like that. But the point is you want to make it quite fast and aggressive, that vibrato. That really sells the lick, okay? Okay, and that's with my fourth finger, that 15th fret there on B. Okay, and that leads me really nicely to that triad, and again, really, really good wiggle on that note there. That's the 14th fret of the G string. And in fact, just let me add as well, that triad of course is 12 on the high E, 14 on B, 14 on G. In terms of picking, I personally like to go down, up, up, but it's really up to you. I want to get quite a quick delivery on that one, quite aggressive. So let me just replay that lick number one nice and slow so you can hear how those two kind of triadic ideas work together. Okay, so it sounds something like this. I'll do it without the drums first and then bring the drums in a second. Once more. Okay, so now with the drums, so you have a bit more rhythmic context. Okay, it comes in right on beat number one, which is nice and easy. So 2, 3, 4, and. Okay, once more. 2, 3, 4, and. And you'll notice as well, between the two triads, that note there on that 15th fret, I'm kind of choking it, I'm making it really staccato. And that, you know, pertains to kind of Brian May's sort of feel. We'll get much more into his feel and his delivery as the course progresses. So you see, I'm really cutting off that note rather than going, choking it there and then following up with that A triad. Okay, so that's lick number 1 there for you. So on to lick number 2. So lick number 2 in isolation without the drums sounds something like this. Okay, so you'll see much of the same is coming into play here. We've got that really intense vibrato. There's really kind of large, you know, full tone bends. See that note there? I'm really wiggling both of those notes. So in terms of, again, what's actually going on with this lick, so the next chord following on from the D and the A over C sharp was actually a C major. Okay, so what I've done here is targeted now a C major triad. Okay, so it's highlighting the sound of the chord that we're playing over currently. So specifically, the frets are going to be this. So we start by sliding up to fret number 12 on the G, okay? So what I'm doing there with my first and second fingers is to play 12 on G, 13 on B, back to 12 on G, back to 13. So in context, that's our sound. And again, you see that vibrato is always there. Okay, and then to make the lick kind of climb up and build a bit of anticipation, we go up to fret number 15 on the B string, back to 13, and then a big full tone bend again with that vibrato. So that's the name of the game with these first 2 licks, is really harnessing that vibrato. So once again, a little bit slower on this lick number 2, and then I will try it with the drums and you can hear it with a bit more rhythmic context. So here we go. Once more. Okay, now if I kick the drums on, and I believe this one starts right on the 1 as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and again, 2, 3, 4, and this one's got a really distinct rhythm. Dun, da da dun, da da dun. It's kind of that lazy sort of triplet feel that we're going for here. So that's actually one thing that Brian May has a real tendency to do, is be quite lazy with his feel and sit behind the beat a little bit. But that's, again, that'll come a bit more into play later on in this solo and later on in the course as well. Okay, so let's now listen to licks 1 and 2 together with the drum beat, and you can hear how they work as a unit. So I'll count myself in. 2, 3, 4, and once more. One more for luck. A little bit of an inaccurate slide on that last one, but you get the idea of how those 2 licks piece nicely together. So see if you can get those ones down, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so that's it for today's lesson. If you want to move on to the next lesson, you'll find the link here. And if you want to go back to the start of the course, you'll find the full playlist here.